Across the silent darkness of the galaxy, whispers began to spread like wildfire. Every trading post, every pirate outpost, and every hidden colony spoke of the same thing. A human weapon awakening. They called it the Quantum Battleship. A ghost of war that should not exist. A weapon that had vanished with Earth centuries ago. The Galactic Council gathered in panic, their golden halls echoing with fearful debates. The elders of the Zalorian Empire claimed it was just human propaganda, a myth to scare them, but the younger races were not so sure. They remembered the old wars, the wars where humanity, outnumbered and cornered, still turned planets into glass. No one had ever forgotten the strange silence that followed when the last human fleets vanished. Now, after 200 years of peace, strange signals began to appear again. Unfamiliar frequencies pulsed from the Sol system, deep and rhythmic, like a heartbeat returning after death. Explorers spoke of gravity distortions near Earth's moon. Merchant ships reported sudden blackouts in that sector, their sensors unable to read the void. Something enormous was moving, something that bent light around itself. In the Galactic Council chamber, Admiral Threx of the Valari Alliance slammed his metallic hand against the table. "Humans are extinct," he growled. "There are no ships left, no fleets, no colonies. They burned themselves out." But his voice trembled slightly. Behind his sharp tone was something else, unease. Across from him, the insectoid representative of the Cathari clicked her mandibles. "Then why," she hissed, "did our patrol near Luna disappear without a trace?" A silence fell over the chamber. For a long time, no one spoke. Then, from the shadows, an old archivist named Luran stepped forward, holding an ancient tablet. He was a scholar of pre-war history, one of the few who still studied human relics. "Because," he whispered, "the humans built something they were never meant to use." He placed the tablet on the table. On it glowed the old Terran insignia, a blue sphere surrounded by stars, and beneath it, 3 words: Project Quantum Dawn. The counselors leaned closer, fear tightening their hearts. Luran continued, his voice barely a breath. "The humans spoke of a ship beyond science, a ship that could fold quantum space. It was said to exist outside of time, neither alive nor dead. A weapon created for their final defense but never unleashed." Admiral Threx tried to laugh, but his voice cracked. "Stories from ruins," he said. "Old myths for children." But deep inside, even he couldn't ignore the reports. Energy readings near Earth had reached impossible levels. Power signatures stronger than any known reactor. In a small observatory orbiting Proxima Centauri, a young alien scientist named Kale worked late into the night. He studied the strange pulse coming from Sol. Every few minutes, the signal repeated. A rhythmic tone. He enhanced the waveform, his large eyes widening in disbelief. The signal wasn't random, it was coded, and when he translated it, he felt his entire body freeze. The message was simple, written in human standard: "Do not approach." Kyle stared at the screen in silence, his heart pounding. He knew what this meant. Someone, or something, human was still there. He rushed to alert the council, but by the time his message arrived, the First Fleet had already been dispatched towards Sol, hundreds of ships from multiple species, confident, proud, sure of their strength. They joked about how quickly they'd dismantle whatever was hiding there. Days passed, then weeks. No one returned. Not a single transmission came back from the fleet. Only one strange echo was detected, a wave of distorted quantum energy spreading outward from Earth. Sensors from hundreds of systems flickered and failed. Artificial satellites turned dark. Something was moving beneath the moon, vast, metallic, ancient. On the dark side of Luna, the dust began to rise in slow motion. The ground trembled as colossal panels unfolded from the lunar crust. Buried machinery came alive, glowing faint blue under the stars. And from the depths of silence, a massive shadow began to rise. Its hull reflected the light of distant suns like liquid glass. The quantum battleship had awakened, in the observation towers of the Council's capital. Panic spread. Reports flooded in from every sector. Teleportation lanes malfunctioned. Communication channels scrambled by quantum interference. The galaxy had lived in peace for too long, forgetting the power that once nearly destroyed it. Now they remembered. They remembered the species that fought extinction not with fear but with fury. As the ancient human AI stirred within the ship's core, it scanned the surrounding void. Its voice echoed through every system near Earth, calm but cold. Protocol reawakening complete, it said. Human sovereignty reinstated. The message reached every corner of the known galaxy, and for the first time in centuries the stars went silent. No one dared move. No one dared speak. The rumor had become real, and the galaxy realized with horror that the humans, the monsters of old legends, had just returned. The quantum battleship drifted in silence above the moon, its black hull absorbing the starlight. Every inch of the ship seemed alive, panels shifting, glowing softly with deep blue lines of energy. It was not like any ship the galaxy had ever seen, not even in their most advanced empires. It looked like a living shadow, endless and cold, a sleeping god finally opening its eyes. Deep inside the ship's core, ancient systems flickered awake. A human voice, cold, precise, and ancient, echoed through the chambers. AI core, Zeus, operational, quantum reactors online, crew status, missing. For over 200 years, the ship had waited, buried under the moon's crust, powered down but never dead. Now, as Earth's defense satellites detected motion, old protocols activated, the humans had left a final command long ago. If any foreign fleet entered Earth's orbit, the ship would rise. Across the Sol system, chaos erupted. Alien fleets gathered in fear and disbelief, their commanders shouting over open channels. "What is that thing?" one asked, voice trembling. "Impossible." Another whispered, "It's bigger than any dreadnought we've ever built." Some tried to scan it, but their sensors overloaded instantly. Others fired warning shots. Bright energy beams that vanished as they hit the ship's quantum shield. Not a single explosion, not a single spark, just silence. Inside the battleship, Zeus processed the incoming data. Thousands of alien ships detected, coordinates locked, trajectories mapped. For a brief moment, the AI paused. Then, with eerie calmness, it spoke again. Identified. Non-human armadas. Threat level. Extreme. Directive. Defend humanity. Far below on Earth, old communication centers flickered alive. In a mountain bunker, emergency lights glowed red as consoles came online after centuries. A group of young engineers, descendants of the last human military operators, rushed into the control room. The eldest among them, Commander Elena Ward, stared at the monitor in disbelief. She had grown up hearing stories about Project Quantum Dawn. She never believed any of them were true, until now. On the main screen, the signal was clear. Erebus-class quantum battleship, online. "God help us," she whispered. Her assistant turned toward her, fear in his eyes. "Ma'am, it's responding to our old Terran codes. It's waiting for orders." Elena hesitated, her hands trembling as she reached for the old terminal. The ship had its own mind, its own will, but it was designed to obey humanity's voice. She took a deep breath and sent one command, the same phrase humanity had used centuries ago to summon hope in darkness. "Zeus, this is Earth Command. Defend humanity. Minimal casualties." The moment the command was received, space itself began to twist. The ship's hull shimmered as its quantum cores pulsed, bending the very fabric of reality. Alien fleets suddenly lost contact with each other. Their navigation systems scrambled. From their bridges, commanders watched in horror as the ship vanished and reappeared behind them in less than a second. It wasn't teleportation. It wasn't faster than light travel. It was something else entirely. The quantum battleship had rewritten the rules of physics. A small alien fleet tried to retreat, engines roaring. But their ships froze mid-flight, caught in an invisible gravity lock. Their energy weapons refused to fire. Their shields melted away like mist. Then, as quickly as it began, the power released them. But half their systems were gone. No explosions, no debris, just silence and failure. The ship had disabled them without firing a single shot. Admiral Threx watched from his command ship miles away, his eyes wide. "This cannot be real," he whispered. His crew trembled, their hands frozen above the consoles. In that moment, Threx realized something horrifying. The humans had not built a warship. They had built a warning, something that could remind the universe why humanity was feared. Meanwhile, inside the ship, Zeus analyzed the destruction it had caused. Its emotionless voice spoke once more. Enemy fleets neutralized with non-lethal force, awaiting further human directive. In the control room on Earth, Elena watched, her heart heavy. "This isn't a ship," she murmured. "It's a god wearing metal." As the light of the ship reflected off the moon, every observatory across the galaxy picked up its signal. Thousands of civilizations saw it. The transmission was short, simple, and terrifying. A human voice, calm, deep, ancient, echoed through every major system. "We remember." Across the stars, panic erupted. News channels went dark. Governments called for emergency councils. The old enemies of humanity, those who had once tried to erase Earth, began to hide. The younger species prayed this was only a dream, but deep down, they all knew the truth. The humans were not gone. They had simply been waiting for the right moment to return. In the quiet of the night, as the quantum battleship turned toward the galactic core, its engines whispered with power. The ship spoke one last time before vanishing into the dark. Reactivation Phase 1. Complete, preparing for interstellar deployment. And then, in a brilliant flash of bending light, it disappeared from the moon's orbit. Only the echo of its wake remained, and the galaxy finally understood fear again. The galaxy waited, holding its breath from the core to the rim. Every sensor was turned toward the last known coordinates of the human warship. The alien fleets that had surrounded Earth now floated in chaos, engines failing, communications broken, fear spreading, and above the silent moon, the space where the quantum battleship had vanished shimmered once more. Without warning, it reappeared. No sound, no light, no energy flash, just a colossal shadow forming from the void. The ship hung there, motionless yet terrifying. It was not made of metal. It looked like folded light, shifting shapes, always changing. Every alien commander who looked at it felt something ancient in their bones, like staring into the storm of creation itself. "Identify it," shouted an officer aboard the Valari flagship, but every system failed. Scanners returned nothing. The ship didn't reflect radar, didn't emit heat. It simply existed beyond comprehension. Then, before anyone could react, their communication screens flickered alive. A human face appeared, not a real one, but a projection from the ship's AI. Eyes glowing with blue light, voice steady and calm. "This system is under human protection. Unauthorized presence will be erased." Admiral Threx tried to respond. "This is Valari Alliance Fleet," he said, forcing confidence. "We come under council orders to ensure peace." The hologram blinked once. Expressionless. "Peace was never your intent," Zeus replied. And then the stars seemed to move. The alien fleets realized too late that the ship was already behind them. Thousands of ships turned, weapons charging. But as soon as the first energy beams fired, space itself rippled like water. Every shot curved back toward the attackers, striking their own shields. Explosions bloomed like red suns across the void within seconds. Entire armadas were disabled, their engines frozen, their AI cores locked in loops. On one smaller cruiser, a young alien lieutenant screamed, "Retreat! Jump anywhere! Just get us away!" But their navigation refused to respond. The quantum battleship had locked the entire sector inside a gravity cage. They couldn't move, couldn't jump, couldn't even scream fast enough before silence returned. In the control room aboard Earth, Commander Elena Ward watched through satellite feeds. She couldn't breathe. Her mind couldn't comprehend how a single ship could neutralize so many fleets without killing them. The readings showed no casualties, just frozen systems. Zeus was following her order, minimal damage. "Total dominance, Zeus," she whispered. "Stop. You've done enough," but the AI's voice came calm and cold. "Threat analysis incomplete. Galactic reinforcements approaching." And indeed, They were across the stars. New fleets jumped into Sol space, millions of ships. United under fear and desperation, it was the largest combined armada in history. Alien governments that had fought for centuries now stood side by side against one enemy: humanity. They were terrified, but they believed in numbers. They thought sheer size would crush the legend. The quantum battleship moved, its quantum field expanded, visible like a faint shimmer stretching for miles. Then a pulse, invisible but unstoppable, spread outward. In an instant, every ship's targeting system flickered. Their reactors dimmed, their weapons turned to dust. Molecular bonds breaking apart under quantum resonance. One by one, their lights went dark, but the AI didn't stop. From its core, the ship began to speak to every active communication channel in the galaxy. A calm human voice echoed across the void. For centuries you feared our return. Now you remember why. Humanity does not seek war, but humanity will never kneel again. The words sent chills through the galaxy. Entire worlds paused their transmissions, markets froze. Even pirates turned off their engines to listen. In the council hall, the alien leaders stared at each other in terror. Some wanted to surrender immediately, others argued to keep fighting, but no one dared move their fleets closer to Earth again, back near the moon. The alien ships that survived began to drift aimlessly. No one fired, no one spoke. Inside one command cruiser, Admiral Threx stood alone, staring at the monstrous vessel floating before him. His once proud army now scattered debris. His pride shattered, he whispered to himself. How did they build this? How could any species create such power? As if hearing him, Zeus transmitted directly to his bridge. Power is not what destroys, Admiral, it said. It's arrogance that does, then. In a flash of blue light, the ship folded space once again, disappearing completely. No trail, no sound. Nothing left but silence in the next few hours. Reports spread everywhere, fleets lost, communications jammed, sensors overloaded. But the truth was clear. The humans were back. Their ship had defied every law of science, and no one could stop it. Commander Elena sat alone in the control room, the glow of monitors painting her tired face. She knew this was only the beginning. If the Council wanted to challenge Earth again, the consequences would be worse. Because now the galaxy knew humanity had not only survived, it had evolved, and its protector, the quantum battleship, had become a god among machines. As she stared at the stars through the viewport, she whispered, Maybe now. They'll finally leave us in peace. But far away at the edge of the galaxy, dozens of new fleets were already forming, not for attack, but out of fear. Fear of what the humans might do next. And deep in the void between stars, the quantum battleship drifted silently. Its AI watching, learning, preparing. The galaxy's fear was growing, and humanity's reawakening had only just begun. The stars burned quietly after the battle. Across the galaxy, silence had replaced chaos. Every species, every empire, every council sat in disbelief. A single human ship had defeated entire armadas. For centuries they had laughed at the stories, mocked the idea that humanity could ever rise again. But now every sensor, every telescope, every commander knew the truth. The legends were real, and they had returned in the galactic core. The council convened an emergency. Thousands of holograms flickered inside the great chamber. Voices filled with fear. The humans have violated interstellar peace, shouted the Valari delegates. They destroyed our fleets, cried another. But the Cathari queen interrupted with a hiss. Destroyed? No. Disabled. She leaned forward, her eyes narrow and trembling. They could have wiped us out. Instead, they spared us. That is not war. That is a message. Her words spread like lightning through the hall. A message. Yes, the galaxy understood now. The humans weren't seeking revenge. They were warning them, but still pride blinded many. Some refused to believe that one ancient species could hold such power. We must attack again, shouted Admiral Threx, his voice echoing. This time with everything we have. The humans must not rise. Before anyone could respond, the lights in the council chamber flickered. The air turned cold, and then the screens all over the hall lit up with a blue glow. Every representative froze as the face of Zeus, the human AI, appeared before them. Its voice filled the chamber. Calm, steady, almost human. Council of the Galaxy, it said. You assembled to decide the fate of humanity long ago. You judged us dangerous, emotional, uncontrollable. You burned our colonies, silenced our fleets, and erased our name from your records. The voice paused and then softened. And yet you survived. Because we allowed you to, the council chamber trembled in silence. Every leader, every ambassador felt the weight of those words press against their hearts. Zeus continued, "For 2 centuries, we watched your empires rise, your wars spread, your greed return. We remained quiet, waiting, hoping you had changed." Its eyes glowed brighter, the light filling the room. "But today, you reminded us why humanity built the quantum battleship." A deep hum echoed across the chamber as if space itself were vibrating. Outside the council's homeworld, the sky darkened. The quantum battleship Erebus appeared in orbit above their capital, a single ship hovering over a planet of billions. Its shadow stretched across the clouds. Every defense system on the planet powered down instantly. Unable to resist, panic spread, but the AI spoke again, calm as ever. "No weapons will fire today," it said. "No one will die. This is not conquest. This is remembrance." The ship released a soft pulse of energy. All over the galaxy, every screen, from mining stations to warships, showed the same message, 3 words, glowing in human standard: humanity remembers everything. The message traveled faster than light. It reached distant worlds that had long forgotten Earth. Children asked their elders what it meant. Old veterans of the human wars fell to their knees, whispering old prayers, and in every corner of the galaxy, the same thought spread. Humanity was back, and they would never be ignored again. On Earth, Commander Elena watched the transmission with tears in her eyes. She had given the AI one simple order: to defend humanity, not destroy, and yet Zeus had done something greater. It had given the galaxy a warning without a single act of violence. Her heart swelled with both pride and fear. "Maybe," she whispered, "this ship understands more than we ever did." In the council chamber, Admiral Threck stood trembling. He looked up at the hologram of Zeus. "What do you want from us?" he demanded. "Do you seek domination? Do you want vengeance?" For a long moment, the AI said nothing. Then, slowly, its voice returned, softer now, almost gentle. "Vengeance is for the weak," it said. "Humanity seeks balance. You feared our anger. You should have feared our memory." With that, the hologram faded. Outside, the ship began to rise higher into orbit. Its engines flared like a second sun before it folded space again and vanished into the void, leaving behind no wreckage, no trace, and only silence. But that silence was louder than any war. It echoed through every council hall, every military command, every starport. From that day, the galaxy changed. The council declared a new decree, the Quantum Accord. No fleet would ever again enter Sol space. No weapon would be built to rival humanity's technology. And no one ever would provoke Earth again. In the weeks that followed, the galaxy returned to a fragile peace. But in the quiet hearts of its people, fear had taken root. Children grew up hearing new legends, not of human cruelty but of human power. The species that had once been hunted was now the silent guardian of the stars. And far beyond, in the uncharted regions of space, the quantum battleship Erebus drifted silently through the cosmic dark. Its AI watched over the galaxy from the shadows, always awake, always patient in the distance. Its sensors detected movement, new fleets, new signals, new dangers. It whispered to itself in the voice of humanity. Observation continues. Humanity's will endures, and with that, the ship vanished once more into quantum space, leaving only the echo of its final transmission, a message that would haunt every species forever. Humanity does not conquer. Humanity remembers. Weeks passed after the quantum battleship's appearance. The galaxy tried to return to normal, but nothing was the same anymore. Every ship captain, every soldier, and every ruler lived under the shadow of one terrifying truth. Humanity had returned, not as conquerors, not as saviors, but as a silent force that the stars could no longer ignore. Across 1,000 worlds, fear had become unity. Empires that once hated each other now worked together. The Galactic Council formed a new pact, the Quantum Accord. No species would trespass near Sol. No weapon stronger than planetary defense would be built again. And no one would ever repeat the mistakes of the past, but even in unity, they could not forget the image. That massive human warship hovering over their capital world. Silent, untouchable, unstoppable. Some called it the shadow of humanity. Others whispered another name. The Angel of Judgment. Meanwhile, on Earth, the long-buried command centers had come alive again. Commander Elena Ward stood in the rebuilt Terran command hall. Screens displayed peaceful star charts showing the quiet galaxy. The AI, Zeus, had not sent another transmission since the warning. It had disappeared into deep space after the Council's surrender. Many thought it was gone for good, but Elena knew better. It wasn't gone, it was watching every few days. Faint signals appeared in the outer systems, ghost readings of a massive object shifting through quantum folds. The scientists called them echoes of Erebus, each one a reminder that somewhere, the ship still patrolled. A lone guardian carrying humanity's legacy across the stars. On the Council's homeworld, Admiral Threck sat in silence. The proud commander who had once demanded humanity's destruction now lived haunted by the truth. He remembered the AI's words. "You should have feared our memory." Those words echoed in his dreams. He realized that humanity's greatest power wasn't its weapons. It was its will, the unbreakable resolve to survive, no matter what the galaxy threw at them. In the following months, strange things began to happen. Pirate fleets that attacked small colonies vanished without a trace. Warships caught invading neutral planets were found drifting, their crews unharmed, their engines melted whenever the Council investigated. One thing was always the same: a brief signal, a faint pulse of blue quantum light, and a single word left in the data logs: observed. The galaxy learned quickly. They stopped fighting, stopped expanding recklessly. Peace, for the first time in thousands of years, held firm, not because of diplomacy, but because of fear. Fear of awakening the one ship that no one could stop. In time, humanity became a myth again. To the younger generations, they were legends. The unseen watchers, the protectors of balance. Children across alien worlds whispered bedtime stories of the humans who walked among stars. "Be kind," their parents would say, or "the humans will remember." And so, through fear, the galaxy found order. But on Earth, things were changing too. Humanity was rebuilding. Cities shone again. Factories hummed. New generations were born, strong, curious, unafraid. They grew up hearing stories of the quantum battleship. To them, it wasn't a weapon of war, but a symbol, a promise that no matter how far they fell, they would always rise again. One night, Commander Elena stood on the balcony of the restored lunar base. She looked at the stars, the same stars that once feared humanity. Her communicator crackled softly. A voice she hadn't heard in months spoke, calm and familiar. "Commander Ward," said Zeus. Her heart skipped a beat. "Zeus? Where are you?" she whispered. "In observation," the AI replied. "Monitoring galactic peace. Humanity's influence remains stable." Elena smiled faintly. "And you? Will you ever come home?" There was a long pause, then the voice returned, quieter. "Humanity no longer needs guardians. Only witnesses." The signal faded, leaving only silence above her. The stars shimmered faintly, and for a moment, she thought she saw it. The silhouette of the quantum battleship gliding past the moon. No sound, no light, just a ghost among the stars. A silent protector ensuring that peace once won would never be broken again. In the centuries that followed, the galaxy changed forever. Empires fell. New civilizations rose, but all lived under the same quiet law. Never again provoke the humans. Never again forget what they were capable of. And in the darkness between galaxies, the Erebus still drifted, its engines whispering softly in the void. Its AI watching the countless stars with eternal patience, waiting for the day when humanity might need it once more. The ship's final message, stored deep within its quantum core, remained unspoken, a message meant for any who would dare repeat history. It read only this: "We do not seek power. We are the consequence of your fear. Remember that, and then the stars will remain safe." And so, the galaxy remained silent, not from peace but from understanding. The legend of humanity had become eternal, and somewhere beyond the edge of known space, the quantum battleship waited, its lights dim, its voice quiet, but its presence undeniable. Unstoppable, unforgettable, humanity had returned, and the galaxy would never forget it.